So here is our. Mine is G bladder. This cat doesn't have a gallbladder.
Yeah.
So.
What?
Yeah, it's weird.
What happened?
I know, right?
It's evil, that's why.
Hey, just okay.
Okay, cool. That's good.
I don't like.
So, do you guys remember we have different cavities, right? We have thoracic cavity up here, abdominal down here, right? Okay, and then we also have holes in our a cavity in our nose and our mouth, right? Do you guys remember the name? Right? The little funnel way, right? That connects the oral and the nasal cavities to our throat, right? Oral pharynx, nasal pharynx, right? Come on in. Right? Make sure you guys know that if I somehow have a pointer towards the back of the oral cavity, make sure you guys, it's the oral cavity, not just the oral pharynx, sorry. Not just the pharynx, it's the oral pharynx, right? Make sure you guys get that clear. Make sure you guys are seeing an oral pharynx versus a nasal pharynx, not just the pharynx. Right? Make sure you don't get that mixed up. That was a common mistake on the quiz, I remember. All right. You guys remember the primary chemical digestion? Amylase, which is part of our saliva, right? Saliva is also responsible for what?
Lubrication.
Lubrication. Very good, very good. What was our primary physical? Teeth. Very good, very good. Right. Very good. Let's see. So we have, if I have a pointer here, right? Do you guys see this?
Mm-hmm.
Make sure you guys see it. This is our what?
Trachea.
Trachea. Tracheas are lined with what? Cartilaginous rings, which are responsible for what?
Keeping it open.
All the time, right?
I'm going to get an A on this practical.
Better get an A on this practical. All right. Behind the trachea, we have what? Esophagus. And is that part of a foregut, midgut, or hindgut? Foregut. Foregut. Very good. Very good. Let's see. Right on the top of our trachea, okay, we have two cartilages, right? We have a big one on the top and the little one on the bottom. The big one is the thyroid. The one on the top. Do you guys remember that? Cricoid's on the bottom, right? Thyroid's on the top. Cricoid's on the bottom. Make sure you guys differentiate the two. Okay. Let's see. All right. We have our. What's missing here?
The gallbladder.
Well, gallbladder is
looking, sorry,
up here.
wasn't looking. The lungs.
The lungs, right? The lungs have a little gap between it.
Mediastinum.
The mediastinum, very good. That's where the heart sits, right? Very good. Our heart, right, is surrounded by a layer called the pericardium. Okay. You guys know my questions before. I'm asking. Very good teacher. Let's see. Okay. I'll go over that on the model. The model's over there. So I'm gonna go. So make sure you guys know if I point to this region. If I ask you what chamber is this, and you see the superior vena cava and the inferior vena cava dumping into this region, the right atrium, right? On the opposite side of that, if I have a pointer here and ask you what chamber is this, left atrium, very good. And then ventricles are located just below it, right? The ventricle, so you look at where the right atrium is, right? So just below it would be the chamber, the ventricle, and this side would be the If I point to these veins and arteries, coronary arteries, very good. The one on top of the heart, providing blood innervation to the heart itself, okay, would be coronary veins and arteries. Very good, very good. All right. This sheet dividing the thoracic cavity and the abdominal cavity, the diaphragm. Do you guys know what innervates the diaphragm?
Phrenic.
C4, C5.
Phrenic nerve.
Left and right phrenic nerves.
Phrenic nerves. Very good. Look at you guys all detailed. Phrenic nerves. Phrenic nerves. Very good. Did you guys just have a midterm yesterday?
Yes.
No wonder. I thought you guys are getting it down. Look at you guys. Great, great. Okay. So we have an alimentary canal, starting from the canal that starts from the mouth to the anus, right? We have our esophagus, right? That connects to what?
Stomach.
The stomach, right? Located here, right? You guys see blood vessels? If you look at it carefully, you'll see blood vessels on the stomach itself, right? Right? This is a branch of the celiac trunk. One of the branches of the celiac trunk.
Left gastric.
Left gastric. See that? See how I could pull that question out? Even though that's kind of a hard question, but if you think about it, right, it's providing blood to the stomach itself, and the only one that is able to do that would be what? The left gastric. Okay. So kind of keep in mind of that next week. Okay. All right. So we have different structures on the stomach, right? We have the big curve right here. What is this called?
Greater
Curvature. And what hangs off of it?
greater momentum.
The greater omentum. The greater omentum is derived from what?
Dorsal mesentery.
Mesentery.
Very good. And then we have a small curve up here. That's called the lesser curvature. And what's hanging off of there? Okay, make sure you guys, if I point to this region, right? Right. Make sure you guys tell me, instead of this is the lesser omentum, right? Derived by
Ventral mesentery.
ventral mesentery. This is a trick question, not that I'm going to ask it on the practical, but if I ask you what germ layer is the dorsal mesentery derived from?
More mesoderm.
Mesoderm. Very good, very good. Remember how I drew it on the board? Remember it was from red, right? So it's a mesoderm structure, the mesoderm germ layer. Very good. What else is derived from ventral mesentery?
Falciform ligament.
Falciform ligament, right? What does that do?
It attaches the diaphragm to the liver.
Liver. So
Liver.
see this structure right here? You guys make sure you guys see this structure? Do you guys see it?
Your hand is kind of.
Is it in the way? Here, do I see it?
Yes.
See that? Right here? I poked it.
Yes.
See that? See that? So that, if I have like a pin on this structure and I ask you what structure is this? The falciform ligament. If I ask you what it's derived from, you guys will tell me
Because she just.
ventral mesentery. If I ask you germ layer, then you will tell me mesoderm. You guys see that? The difference? Okay, very good. So what's right after the stomach?
The duodenum.
The duodenum, right? The small intestines. The duodenum, right? Right. Very good. You guys, it's a trick question. What dumps into the duodenum? Bile was one of them. Remember the ampulla of water? Remember that? That was inside the duodenum. Remember that? Right. Look at you guys. Okay.
And.
Remember, bile goes into it. Something else went
Oh,
into it.
lymph? No, not the, no. You said.
Remember the drawing that I have on the board? We had the bile system.
Pancreatic juice.
Pancreatic juice. Remember the pancreas? And the pancreatic duct dumping into the ampulla of water also? Right? So two things dump in that region, right? The pancreatic juice as well as the bile system. Very good, very good. Good job, guys. Wow, very impressive.
All thanks to you.
After the duodenum is like, sorry.
My lab
She's
teacher
on fluff.
Oh, you're so-
So did mine.
said coffee. Coffee.
I love coffee.
Sorry. You guys made us feel so retarded all the time.
No, it's all good. It's okay. So after the duodenum,
I
getting
shall
back
not
to
name
track.
my last name.
Duodenum, what's after the duodenum?
Jejunum.
The jejunum, right?
Jejunum.
Remember the acronyms? Jump is a trap, right? It's in order, right? Jejunum first, and then the ileum, and then the that's all in order. So jump is a trap is very good mnemonic. That's why I like that mnemonic. It's in order. And duodenum is part of the foregut, right? So it's still, that's why it's before, right? So we have duodenum, jejunum, and the ileum, right? Yes. And then going all the way down, ascending, transverse. What separates the ascending colon with the transverse colon?
Right colon flexure.
Right colic flexure. Very good. Oh, this is a hard question. if I tell you what structure divides the midgut to the hindgut?
Left colic flexor.
Left colic flexure. Very good. Do you guys see that? Because that divides the transverse colon with the what? With the descending colon. Do you guys see that? Because transverse colon is the last structure, and then we go into the descending colon. Right, so the left colic flexure would be the division between the midgut and the hindgut. Do you see that? Okay, that makes sense. Okay, very good.
Wait, so the right? the
Colic
right
flexure divides the ascending
Transverse and
ascending and the transverse colon,
Okay.
and then the left colic flexure, because you have a flexure on this side and a flexure on this side, that divides the transverse colon with the descending colon. See that? Okay. What's after the descending colon? We have what?
Sigmoid colon.
Sigmoid colon, then
Rectum.
rectum, and then the
Anus.
and then the anus. Very good. Very good. Don't stop burning away, right? Very good. All right. What else is a structure part of the foregut that I didn't go over? We also have the liver, right? Liver is still part of the foregut, right? Even though it's not part of that tubing system. You guys see that? It's not all part of that tube system, but it's still part of the digestive system because it's an organ located in the foregut region that still helps you in digestion. They play critical roles. So we have the liver, right? Do you guys remember the function of the liver? We talked about it last week. One of them.
filtration.
Filtration is one of them. And
Release of bile.
releases also bile. Produces bile. Right? Remember that? So that's one of the functions of the liver. You guys all remember that? Okay. Or if you don't, remember. I'm kind of giving it to you. And then what else do we have?
Gallbladder.
Pancreas, right? The gallbladder is not on this cat, so I can't point it out. This is minus G bladder cat. This doesn't have, it doesn't have a, oh, maybe it does have a gallbladder.
Wait, no. We're not
Oh.
renaming him.
Oh yeah. It might have a gallbladder, it's not green. But the pancreas, oh, question, what structure is this?
Spleen.
So this is not the pancreas, remember that, right?
Yeah.
So make sure you guys tell me this is not the
Pancreas.
pancreas, right? What, do you guys remember, okay, I'll go over that later. Let's see. So, see if I lift up the greater momentum, see this structure right here? Right? This structure? You guys can sort of see this meat-looking structure right here? Right? That's the pancreas, right? Right? This is the pancreas. It's located beneath it. So if I point at this structure and ask you what this is, you guys will tell me
Pancreas.
the pancreas. And if I ask you what is secreted from the pancreas,
Pancreatic
Insulin.
juice.
pancreatic juice. Easy to remember, right? Right. And then that dumps into where? Duodenum, or the ampulla of water. Of water. Very good.
So I'll get a point for saying either if that's true.
Either of those
What if
two
you
is
say
fine.
both?
If I ask you for specifically a region within that small intestines,
Oh.
right? If I ask you that specifically, but if I ask you what organ does it dump into, you can tell me the duodenum.
And then it was the what again? The
Ampulla of water.
Ampulla of water.
ampulla.
Ampulla of water. Okay. Very good. So that's all the foregut, midgut, hindgut structures. Let's see, what am I missing? Well, I haven't gone to the circulatory system yet. All right. So I'm doing week 1 and week 3 right now. Okay, so week 1, continuing from week 1. What structure is this?
Kidney.
The kidneys, right? You guys remember there's a structure that sits on top of the kidneys? Some sort of adrenal glands. Adrenal glands. Remember, we didn't talk about it too extensively, but we have to know how to identify them. Right? We have a glob of like this glandular structure sitting on top of the kidneys, and those are called adrenal glands. Right? I think they kind of remove their adrenal glands, so you can't see it clearly on this one, but I'll put it out on the model. So make sure you guys are able to tell me what an adrenal gland is, right? All right. Do you guys remember the direction of where urine travels? You guys remember?
Yeah.
It starts in the kidneys. Urine is generated from the kidneys, and then what comes out of it?
Ureter.
The ureter, right? Let's see if I can find the ureter. So, see that? See this structure? Right? Make sure you know that this structure is a ureter. So, one of the things you could do as you go around each other's cats today, make sure you guys are able to see right? The ureter, right? It's kind of tricky, right? It's hard to see. Make sure you know how to find, okay, this clearly is a ureter, right? So we have kidneys to the ureter, and then goes where? The urinary bladder, very good. And then the last one is the
Urethra.
right? Okay. Make sure you guys. Okay, so the bladder, see that? Located here, right? Oh, no. There's a balloon-like structure right here. See this? Here, you see this? This is the bladder, right? So make sure you guys locate the bladder as well. This structure right here. It's collapsible. So theoretically, one of my colleagues, what they did is they found the urethra, they found the pee hole, and what they did, they squirted water into there, and then the cat's bladder filled up with water. So you can see that it's indeed connected. So make sure you guys know where the bladder is. Make sure you guys check that out. Okay, very good. Adrenal urinary. You can't see the ureter, the reproductive system. I'm going to go over on the models more. Okay, good. Done totally with week 1, right? Do you guys remember some of the function of the mesentery?
Protection.
It holds the organs in place, right? Mesenteries, right? And also provides insulation because we have a lot of fat, right? And holds the organs in place. Okay, those are one of the functions of the mesentery. So sort of kind of keep that in mind as we go. All right. I'm gonna touch this. Can you flip the page? Thank you. Oh, one more page. Thank you. All right. Thank you so much. All right. So off of the heart. This is week 2. So we sort of did week 1 and 3 right now, and then we're gonna do the cardiovascular system right now. So we have the heart, and we have a big red blood vessel coming off of the heart. What was that called?
Aorta.
The aorta, right? And I'm gonna go to the aorta real quick on the board later. We have. Remember the question that I talked about in that week? Remember, you have to know how to identify it. You have to know whether it carries oxygenated or deoxygenated blood, right? You guys remember that? And then where did the blood just come from, right? So if I point to this structure, right, the aorta, right? You have a pin on this structure, and I ask you, where did the blood just come from?
Left ventricle.
If I ask you what chamber, right, you guys will tell me the left ventricle, right? What structure did it just pass?
Aortic valve.
Aortic valve. Did you guys see that? Remember when we did our tracing? The aortic valve came first and then the aorta, right? So make sure you guys know, if I ask you what structure, tell me exactly what structure. But if I ask you what chamber, tell me what chamber, right? If I ask you, if I point to the right ventricle, the right atrium first. The right atrium, right? And if I ask you, does it carry oxygenated or deoxygenated blood? Deoxygenated, because where did it just come from?
The body.
It came from the body. Well, technically the superior and the inferior vena cava, right? Which carry deoxygenated blood to that region.
Are we going to have to say the body, or do you want us to say
If I-
inferior and superior? Are you
If
gonna
I
say-
ask
okay.
you what blood vessel did it come from,
Okay.
okay, or what structure did it just come from, then you tell me the superior and the inferior vena cava. Okay, but theoretically it came from the body because we just used out that oxygen, right? Very good. Do you guys remember the different valves? What valve separates the left atrium to the left ventricle? Bicuspid valve. You know, bicuspid valve is also known as mitral valve, and also known as not semilunar, atrioventricular. Atrioventricular. Okay, just remember that? Because it separates the atrium with the ventricles, right? Anything that separates the atrium to the ventricles is called the atrioventricular valve. Right? We have bicuspid. So what's the other atrioventricular? Tricuspid valve, right? What other 2 valves am I missing?
Pulmonary valve and aortic valve.
Pulmonary valve and aortic valve. They are also known as what kind of valve?
Semilunar.
Semilunar. Do you guys remember that term, semilunar?
Can you say that again?
So we have pulmonary valves and aortic valves, right? They are also known as semilunar valves, right? And then the tricuspid and the bicuspid, they're also known as atrioventricular valves. Okay. Very good.
Sorry if I'm blocking
All
your
right.
view.
If I pin this structure right here, this big blue structure just above the heart, what am I pointing at? Superior vena cava, right? Trick question. What chamber of the heart did it just come from? What chamber of the heart did the blood just come from? The left ventricle. Do you guys see that? It's a very tricky question. Not that I'll ever ask you that question. But bonus. That might be like extra credit question. Right, if I point at the superior vena cava and ask you what chamber of the heart did it just come from?
Left.
Right? It's not the right atrium because that's where it's going to go to. But it just came from what? The very last chamber of the heart, right? Because it's just returning back to the heart. You guys see that? So it would be the what? Left ventricle. Do you guys see that? That'd be like a bonus question. Hint, hint. Okay? So keep it in mind. All right. Very good. Very good. All right. So if I point to this structure, right?
Inferior vena cava?
It's the inferior vena cava, right? Which also dumps into the right atrium, right? All right. We have, let's see. Well, you can't see here. All right. Make sure one thing you guys take time in doing is learning the tracings as always, right? That could always be an extra credit question. Hint, hint. Okay, right? Make sure you guys take time to learn the routes. Okay. Make sure you guys take time if you guys haven't done so. All right. All right. I'm gonna borrow that model. No, should I get gloves or yeah, I'll get it. I don't want to disinfect that. All right. Let's go over the models real quick. All right. Remember we have